Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to some of you and peace out to the rest of you. The blackest heart, the blackest mind, the blackest man on social media sign the black end shining again asking you to hit the share button because the message is more important than the messenger. And this message will resume as soon as I locate this car key that I just dropped. Okay, all right, I found it. Alhamdulillah. So this one is about black men's real role in the black female obesity epidemic. I think his name is James Woods. I might be wrong about it because I can't see the Facebook screen right now, and I don't have that sharp a memory for names and dates. Sorry, but so forgive me if I got your name wrong, blood. But I saw something about how black men's attitudes are the reason that black women are walking around as big as they are. Now he was saying this in a different way than what some sister was saying this several months back. I think she said something like Trump had something to do with the obesity epidemic. And I mean, I'll be honest. I don't want to blame Trump for something he didn't do, and I'm not one of his supporters at all. Nor am I a supporter of Biden. As I said in my last recording, about a possible live stream I may do in which I start blasting some of y'all that are Trump supporters and think he's some great big godsend for black people. Because in all honesty, he ain't done more or less for black people really than Obama did. Politically speaking, things don't really change. Economically or financially are when things do change. But Edward Anderson brought up a valid point. Politically, things do not change for us based on who's in office. You know who else things do not change for politically based on based on who's in office? Israelis and Palestinians. The foreign policy regarding them remains the same no matter who's in office. And the domestic policy regarding us has tended to be the same regardless as to who's in office. If you support a crime bill, they're going to sneak things in it that are not good for us. If you don't support it, then they're going to sneak things in the lack of support that are not good for us. They get us either way. I've been saying this, the fork in the road is not a choice between right and wrong. It's a choice between two wrong ways to go. I've been telling us this. We still debate dichotomously, which is why we're in the political debates that we have now and why I may have to do the live stream I mentioned in my last recording about some of you conservatives and Republicans because you think so dichotomously, and therefore you can't even tell that my platform exists because it's not a part of these dichotomies. So anyway, regarding this black female obesity epidemic in black America, the man that posted had a valid point, but I don't think it's the one he intended. You see, it's not that black men walk around here preferring this. Black men have different preferences. You know, thick, thin, medium, but too thin and too big generally are not any men's preferences. These are the outliers. He has a point that the attitudes have something to do with it. The difference is this. See, the attitudes are not the motivation. We already know. Our attitudes towards these things are never, ever, ever reason enough for sisters to take on anything. Our preference for something does not. We disprefer their attitudes, they maintain them. And they even go so far as to make fun of any sisters that don't have these stereotypical attitudes. There's more. The weaves. We will find with permed hair, we really were not fans of kinky hair on women, let's be honest. But when it came to the weaves, we said, oh my God, no. And we were met with all kind of attitude about it. So our preferences for things don't drive their choices. However, sorry about these notifications. However, our forgiveness of these things does make the continuation, the cycle possible, because our forgiving and being willing to overlook this stuff and then glorify it even, well, see, this is what makes it such, because we will forgive it, we'll glorify it, because those are the only options really for a lot of us. And then we will willingly run up in them raw and spray that cervix with no protection, allowing them to pass this on to their daughters. That's what we really have to do with it. It's not our fault that it began, but because of our sexual cooperation and ease, it has been allowed to continue as a cycle. And this is really what's the secret right there to controlling the black community. We don't start things that are self-destructive, we perpetuate them. They always start from somewhere else, but we perpetuate them. So at a time when all we had was the diets that we had, and that was all we were allowed, and you really couldn't grow up and remain thin unless you were starving, I know why it was that we might have overlooked these things. I get it. But when it comes down to today, where we have more control over what we eat, except in the worst and most poor neighborhoods, there really is not that much control. They are food deserts. But outside of those, since we have more control over what we eat, or at least what we don't eat, we still perpetuate it as though we don't, because we get into a groove. That's what we really have to do with it, and that's the responsibility we really do have to take for it. We did not motivate them to blow up. Absolutely not. What we did do is we allowed them to reproduce with us so that they could pass it on and make it a cycle. And this is to the point that my wife, who is not AOS, who is from the motherland, but knows us quite well, has even said, she saw it in the Midwest. Not only did you see guys that were in shape, brothers I mean, with these big old land whales, she said it's like brothers have to be in shape to be with these land whales. If they not, they got a better shot with every woman that ain't black. She can see it, point it out. You expect me to sit up here and deny it? No, this is open for everybody to see, and I'm beginning to understand it. What it means for us in the face of the rest of the world. Not that I even care about what they think, but rather I care about them being right. And this is a case in which others would be right to look at us and say, y'all don't have high enough standards for your own worth, for your own value. Our women will chase you sometimes. We have to worry about losing them to you. But then at least the ones that are in the middle, we have to worry about losing them to you. But then you'll turn around amongst your own and you will tolerate the absolute worst from your own, not just psychologically, but physically, in both of them in one combination. You'll tolerate the one big as a house and got a bad attitude, like she's sexy. And we don't tolerate either one from any of them. They got to come to us at least in decent shape and with a good attitude, and you will accept someone that brings to you neither one. A double push away and you still there. I think I've gotten the point across. I'm not going to try to beat a dead horse just to make this any longer. Thank you for listening. Black heart, black mind, blackout, assalamu alaikum. And black heterosexual non-select male power just because they don't like it. And black patriarchy until extinction or judgment day.